Afternoon all, hope everyone's doing really well. I'm sitting in a nice forest in Thetford, so Thetford Forest obviously. Today I'm going to talk about electric car manufacturers, new and old, where I think they are and where I think they're likely to end up, so stick around. So I wanted to start off with the existing manufacturers. So I'm going to stick with people like Ford, Vauxhall, BMW, Audi, those sort of companies. So most of the companies are already starting to look to produce electric cars, but some are a little bit slow off the punch. So we've got the likes of Vauxhall, Vauxhall are generally someone that seem to be behind quite a bit of all the others. I've not really seen too much press about them in terms of what they're doing, if anything. I think it's one of the companies that will be left behind. Ford, whilst have pledged billions of dollars in terms of electrifying their estate of cars, and to the point in America they're stopped selling general diesel and petrol cars and concentrating on just 4x4s and SUVs, and they're going to be hybrids. Just seems a bit of a halfway measure. And now Ford were one of the few companies of the early days that did bring out electric cars, but we all know kind of how that ended up. The more prestige companies like BMW, Jag, they're all bringing out their electric cars. Obviously BMW have the i3, the hybrid of the i8. And then we have Audi and Jag. Jag are obviously bringing out the I-Pace later this year, and Audi are starting to produce electric cars. Now most companies, I think with a bit of foresight, have sort of said latest electric cars and electrification will be 2025. I personally think this is a little bit too far out, but I understand the reasons in that you can't just cut off everything and start electrifying. Because there's millions of cars out there that they need to do something with, ones that are already still in production and stuff. So they need to start now, but it might be too late for some companies. Then you've got other companies like, I think Toyota, that seems to love advertising a plug-in hybrid, which their advertising is misleading in most cases. And judging by the Twitter conversations that I've had and other people have had, doesn't look like they're really taking it too seriously, and I think unfortunately unless they do something serious, they may well be left behind as well. So I think in general there will be a few of the big companies that will be left. You'll have BMW, Audi, Porsche, Jag. They've got enough money and the technology to survive electrification, and then we come on to, I suppose, the startups. And I class Tesla as one of those startups because X amount of years ago they were an unknown. They've obviously proved themselves with the Model 3, the Model S and the Model X. Great cars, most unfortunately prestige priced cars, but great cars nonetheless. And interestingly, over the last several years you had companies that you've never heard of coming through, a lot with Chinese backed money. One great little startup company, Kickstarter, which was called Unity, and I'll put links and various things in the video. But Unity is a great little city town car. This was announced about a year or so ago, and it's due for release this year, I believe. It's approximately £30,000, I think. Meant to be a completely little town car with a minimal range. But something different, something very new, and I advise you to check it out because it's quite an exciting little car and I'd love to have a go. Then you've got other companies like Byton, which again are £1 billion backed invested companies, but nothing's really come out yet. Expect to see, if they do actually produce things, to come out next year and the year after. There's several other ones like the mythical Faraday. Now Faraday keeps showing a concept car They've run into some financial problems a little while ago, so I don't know whether anything will happen to those, but I think, certainly in my opinion, over the next several years, you'll start to see manufacturers die off. Unfortunately, the ones that have been around for 50 plus years and have just not cottoned on to the fact that electrification is the future. And I think you'll have a mix of existing companies like BMW, Audi, Jag, maybe Ford, and a few others, and a mix of some of the new companies that we've never seen before, which I find exciting because they're actually approaching their cars differently. They're approaching theirs as transportation devices, or almost like technology. It's technology first, because let's face it, there's no engine, there's no moving parts, so you're a technology company, so you could probably produce a car, and I find that really exciting, is that they haven't got the baggage that comes along with old car manufacturers. So it'll be exciting to see, I think, over the next couple of years, which car companies stay afloat and which don't. Now, it's sad to see, I know, like with jobs that will be lost through other manufacturers, but hopefully that they can reskill and go into some of these other companies, because I think it's definitely changing times, and those companies that don't believe things are changing, I think, will be left behind. But I think it's an exciting future for electric cars. Even with all the myths and the naysayers out there that this ain't happening, it is. Face facts. Electric cars are building momentum, infrastructure's getting better and better on a weekly and monthly basis, and with the big players coming in like Jaguar and Audi and BMW, that can only improve. When you see the likes of Porsche electrifying their range, that's exciting, and it means that the manufacturers are taking it very seriously. And now you've got, on the infrastructure side, with BP and Shell buying out electric charging companies, that's only got to be hopefully a good thing to back up all the people that are going to buy them. But that's just my thoughts on where I think it's going, and the manufacturers where they are and where I see them going. Like I said, I think it's going to be really exciting. Few years, 2 to 5 years, I think you'll see some really big changes. Ranges will go up in terms of miles that you can go, quicker charging, less about the dials and things that are inside, and make sure it'll just become a more comfortable space to drive, or something to drive you. So it's exciting, and hopefully everyone's going to jump on this EV bandwagon. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's nice and sunny out here, so I'm going to enjoy the rest of the sun, and catch you all soon. Thanks for watching.